Okay, let's do some bartering. Bartering, what is that, Joe? Well, Joe, RxHealthyHabits coming at you. And during times of disaster, bartering is a very effective tool to get some of the supplies you need that you might not have available or maybe ran out of. So bartering is trading your goods for some goods that other person has that you want, and you have something they want. So usually bartering goes really best when you're bugging in. It's really hard to carry a lot of stuff if you're bugging out, but bugging in is mean where you stay put during a disaster, and having some extra supplies on hand that people need are very important because you're going to need some things that they have that you don't have, and you can barter, you could trade. Because typically, the stores might not be open, probably won't be in many cases. So bartering is key. Well, there's 5 of them, but what's the number one thing that you really should think about having to barter with during a disaster? And that is medical supplies. Having in your possession some things like first aid kits with all the usual bandages and antiseptics, very important. Over-the-counter medications for simple treatment of some things that you have during a situation, like analgesics, stuff for fever, all that. I mean, to treating any cuts, because taking care of your health during these times is crucial because you might not have emergency services available. So what's the other one? Antibiotics, if possible. I know you're not supposed to, but you should really try to keep some of those in your house just in case there's some things you might need to take care of that an antibiotic would take care of. I'm not saying I want you to stop taking antibiotics and stockpile these, but just think about it. As a pharmacist, we like you to finish all your medication, but I know in some cases this is going to help. Number 2, food and drink staples should be stockpiled a little bit so you could trade, especially food or MREs, ready-to-eat meals, canned goods, coffee and tea. That's one that's very good to have. But these are essentials, especially food and drink, that you should be a little bit heavier on these so you can sustain yourself, but also in the time of barter, that's going to be extremely valuable because what's number 1? Water. What's number 2? Food, right? That's what they're going to want. Now here's number 3. I think this is big and a lot of people don't understand this one. Fire starting supplies. Even if you're bugging in, you still got to maybe cook some food. You're going to need some fire starting supplies. God forbid, should you have a heat issue, that you might better use some outdoor heat sources, to get warm. But you should also think about having some things that if you run out of, matches, or you run out of lighters, that you can also do a ferro rod to get a fire going. And especially if you're using that to cook in your grill, whatever. But being able to cook food during this time is important. And God forbid, should you have to bug out, without fire, it's hard to stay warm, especially in colder climates. Number 4, hygiene products. Now this is a big one. Soap and hand sanitizer. You got to think about your sanitation during times when you might not have running water all the time. You want to prevent infection. That's huge. Toothpaste and toothbrushes. Stock up on these 2 things because toothpaste is still going to be something you're going to want. Can you imagine going a week without any toothpaste? Talking about hygiene products, that's a given that should be in overstocked just to make sure. But also when it comes to hygiene products, anything you do to stay healthy and prevent you from having a lot of germs. And I think it also comes with sanitation, making sure that you have a way to dispose of some of the waste outside the house. Now, number 5, and this is the last one, and that is tools and repair kits, sewing kits, multi-tools, duct tape, things that you could use to help you really get through and stock up on some of things, especially duct tape, especially a really good duct tape. But sewing kits are important because, hey, again, you're going to not have access to certain things. You want to make sure you're comfortable, and you want to make sure you have tools to keep you going. These are also good things for bartering, of course, not just having yourself, but again, someone might not have a sewing kit, so that's going to be very valuable. So what are you going to trade for the sewing kit for me? Well, I got some MREs, I got some, meal replacements, I got some canned goods. Okay, we'll take those. So here's last few tips. Number 1, separate your items for bartering from your personal supplies. You don't want to get confused and give away your goods. Avoid trading near your home. This might sound crazy, but people, you don't want them to really know what you have. And trading away from your home is better than having them in. And you never want to have all these things displayed somewhere. They should be secluded out of the sight for people coming to your house. Trade with caution. You may have to have some security measures in place. So hope those tips help. And again, come to my blog. All this information is there. A lot of great references. But you have to stay safe and you have to be smart during a natural disaster for you and your community. So hope that helps. God bless.